I mean, as Nick kind of hinted at, three pitcher list folks here. Noah, the former pitcher list person, but always in our hearts, always a part of the community. And we'll always remember your Short Hops and Tall Tales podcast because you covered all kinds of crazy stuff. You know the game backwards and front. I mean, what does it mean to you? Just real quick, working for the Angels, getting that job in Major League Baseball, like, what is that like? Because that's something a lot of us dream about, man.
Right. I mean, it's definitely a dream. It's one of those things where every day when I drive home, I kind of like think to myself, I'm like, I have to be grateful. It's a trip. Right now, getting ready for spring training. That's really surreal. I have so much packing to do literally as soon as I get off of this call. But yeah, it's phenomenal. And I wouldn't, like I've told you and I've told Nick, I wouldn't be in this position if it weren't for Pitcher List and you guys taking a chance on me. So I'm very happy to be back at PitchCon, ready to do this thing.
Awesome, man. And then Randy, dude, the stuff that you've been doing for our Going Deep team, the articles you write are must read every single time. What are you going to be doing this year? What are you working on? What should we be keeping an eye out for, man?
That is a great question that I'm not sure I could answer off the top of my head, but I'm always watching the defensive side of things, both from a metric standpoint and from like whatever my eyeballs like the most. Just trying to find things. For me personally, it's like I got to find things that are interesting because it's like my rooting interests are never really in the contending space when I want them to be. So I got to find different ways to enjoy the game. So defense does a lot of that. I did a thing a couple years ago where I evaluated like hitters on the aesthetics of their swing, like purely on how nice it looked, regardless of outcomes. So just little things like that where I can kind of find different ways to enjoy it other than strictly, win-loss in a typical fan sense.
And that's why this is the perfect panel right here, because I still remember, Noah, when we did the things we love about baseball draft, you had the first pick. You picked ballpark sounds. Randy, you're talking about the aesthetics of their swing, the aesthetics of their defense. Noah, you go all the way back into players' nicknames. I mean, we kind of cover the whole thing. So when we're talking about crafting the greatest team in 2024, there's a lot of different things that we're looking at. But first of all, I think really the thing we have to look at is the alien game. And this is something that I remember from a Bill Simmons podcast. If aliens came down to Earth and challenged us to a winner-take-all game, which, I don't know why they would do that. If they came to Earth, clearly they have the technology to just, honor, I guess, something. But they're challenging us to a winner-take-all game. They choose baseball. What lineup are we going to put out there, right? Let's say the game is going to be, they're giving us till, April. So we got to put out a lineup, start of the 2024 season. Active players, obviously. I don't want to hear about Don Mattingly saying he can come in and be a better hitter than those people. We got to talk about people we're playing today. So I want to get your guys' opinion on who should be on this team, right? That's what we're doing here. So let's start. Let's go position by position. Keep it simple. Okay. Randy, let's talk catchers first. I think really there's like a 4-person list that are even worth consideration. That's JT Realmuto, Will Smith, Adley Rutschman, Sean Murphy. Who you got?
Yeah, Adley was the first one that came to mind immediately. He just does everything well, hits from both sides. Like, there's nobody that I would rather have in that game. He can take a walk when he needs to. He's got the balance every single aspect of the game. So Adley would be my choice for sure.
No, I love Adley Rutschman, and I think for me, I'm between Adley and Will Smith because I am a big Will Smith guy. Myles, you're laughing immediately because I think for me, really the decider is that if we're playing the aliens, I need good hair representation. I think Adley has the flow to really take the cake there. But really, like, you can't go wrong here. I would just stray away from Real Muto because I think that these two guys are either in their prime or have their prime coming up in the next few years. Not to say that anything about Real Muto because obviously he's fantastic. So is Murphy. But I'd agree with Adley Rutschman. I'm not mad at it.
And it's kind of hard to pick against Rutschman. What he showed us in 2023 is that he's the real deal, full, complete catcher, brings it all to the table. I think each of the other 3 guys, you can point at maybe just a little something. And with Sean Murphy, it might just be that if the Braves don't play him every day, then how can we trust to put him in this game? That might say more about the Braves than anything else. But anyway, we'll move on to first base. 3 names, I think, again, a lot of these, it's like, how many people can you really consider for a spot? Freddie Freeman, Matt Olson, Bryce Harper. Weird that Bryce Harper is here, but that's the world we live in now. I know who my choice is, but Noah, who do you have between Freeman, Harper, and Olson?
Seeing Harper here is weird, just as seeing like Tatis in the outfield is weird. It's just, within a couple of years, everything's switched up on me. I got to go with Freddie Freeman because I just love his approach so much more. I love a guy, sound like everyone's dad. I love a guy who'll double ball to the opposite field. And obviously Matt Olson hits tanks. Freddie still can run into one and hit, 20, maybe 25 homers or something, but he's going to have that average up there. And I like consistency, and I like a bat that you can rely on to even go small, take a single when you need one, put an RBI through. But again, we're picking the best players in baseball, so there's not a wrong answer. I think my preference is Freddie Freeman.
And I would have to agree with that. Randy, do you have any objections to Freddie Freeman being the first baseman on this team?
I don't think so. I think like my inclination is complete nonsense. It's like, when you need the big hit, it's going to be, who's going to do it but Bryce Harper? And, in a winner take all, you want that, but you want the consistency, you want the reliability, and Freddie's got that above everybody else. So there's no argument against that for me.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And we definitely could get way into the weeds of like the attitudes that they would bring to the game, like Freeman bringing that just sort of like calm, cool, collected vibe. Bryce bringing that like probably would throw a helmet at an alien at one point just because like just to show them like, hey, we're not going to back down. But you know what? We're not going to get into all that. I think Freddie Freeman's the right pick there. Again, second base, I think there's really only three contenders: Mookie Betts, Jose Altuve, Marcus Semien. Correct me if I'm wrong if there's anyone else to consider. And honestly, I don't know if we could go wrong with any of these three second basemen. But Randy, I'll throw it to you. Who do you think should be our second baseman?
It's got to be Mookie Betts, right? For a lot of the same reasons, it would have to be Freddie Freeman. You're getting that reliability. You're getting, in terms of vibes, you're getting immaculate vibes for sure. As much as I would want to put like a Nico Horner or a Ha-Seong Kim here, like it's those three, but it's definitely Mookie for me.
All right. Yeah, and actually you bring that up. I can hear like the Bill Simmons voice now talking about like, oh, but do we have too many players from the same team? Is that going to create cliques? Or like, do we need the Nico Horner who's like the no nonsense, like no ego?
Right, yeah.
Let's get the best players, man. You know what I don't want? I don't want Nico Horner up with the bases.
We're light on grit. We can't be light on grit.
For sure. Noah, I doubt you're going to say anything besides Mookie Betts here, but I'll just give you the chance to surprise me.
I was going Altuve. No, I'm going Mookie all the way. You can't not love Mookie. That was a double negative there, but I mean, the guy does it all. I was so impressed watching him. I mean, obviously he's a phenomenal outfielder, but seeing how smooth he was, those double plays he was turning up the middle, I've got like, as far as defense goes, he does it just as good, if not better than anyone at that position. So I'm a big Mookie truther. And, if they ever want to challenge us to bowling or like ping pong or something like that, we're covering all our bases here.
Yeah, I'm curious. I would just total sidebar here, but I wonder how many players have won Gold Gloves at multiple positions, and if Mookie is someone that could get to a point of winning a Gold Glove at second base if he plays it full time and can have that reputation. So I know he's already won one in the outfield, so it'd be kind of interesting to see. By the way, JR, aliens would be terrible. We don't know what aliens would be like. Baseball could be like their one true religion on whatever planet they're from. That and interstellar travel. So by the way, we're keeping an eye on chat. If you have difference of opinions than us, please let us know. Third base, there's a bunch of people we could consider here at third base. I don't want to rattle them all off, but I'm just going to say I think Jose Ramirez is the most complete third baseman for my book, at least on the offensive side of the ball. If Randy, if you got thoughts on third base defense that Jose doesn't belong here, let me know. But he does everything when it comes to the offensive side.
Yeah, I think our goal here is just every dimension is covered with each player. And I think, his defense isn't as good as some of the top tier third basemen, but it's above average defense, and whatever minor shortcomings he has there, he more than makes up for on offense. So Jose Ramirez would also be my choice too.
I really want to argue more. Like I came into this ready to battle, and I can't. I mean, it's partly because they're all just such great players. I'm going Jose Ramirez too because I just wish he would get more press because he's just so fantastic and he's so exciting to watch. The guy can run too. Like he doesn't have. For me, it's consistency is what this boils down to. Guy like Machado, guy like Arenado, they're both transcendent defenders. But we have seen in recent years that maybe not the most consistent. Machado's gotten off to some slow starts. Arenado took a little bit of a step back. in recent years, and Jose Ramirez has kept on chugging. I think that honorable mention definitely for Austin Riley out there, but I think you're right. Most complete ball player, I'm going Jose Ramirez. Also wanted to follow up, Ryan Zimmerman actually won a Gold Glove at first base and third base. I don't know if anyone else has done it who's in the league currently, and I know there's a handful of other guys who have done multiple positions, but anyway, I think Mookie could do it. But yeah, Jose Ramirez.
That's pretty cool. And that's a pretty cool, at the very least, good company to be with. If you're in the same category as Ryan Zimmerman, that's pretty cool. All right. I mean, and no, I definitely would love to argue more about this. Trust me, I think we could
get there.
Hour on this. But I know some of the other things that we have in store, and I don't want to lose.
We'll save that
stuff. So
yeah.
Let's go to shortstop. Shortstop, I think there's a clear top three, and then maybe like two other guys to consider. Trey Turner, Corey Seager, and Francisco Lindor, I think, are the top three shortstops in terms of both sides of the ball. Dansby's a fantastic defensive player and good enough on offense, I think, to be considered. And Bogarts, I think, is just a step below on both sides of the ball than most of these guys. So, Noah, who's your pick here at shortstop?
I feel like you can make all my picks for me, but I'll do my Max Kellerman here, and I'll say that death being pointed earth, I want Corey Seager. That guy, stone cold energy. We've seen it in multiple postseasons. The guy can hit. I mean, yeah, like defensively, you can find a better defender in Lindor. Trey Turner, beautiful slides, I guess. But I think Corey Seager, and that's not. I love Trey Turner too. I don't want to put that down, but Corey Seager, just stone cold. You got the aliens bearing down. I want him. I want his bat in the lineup. That's average. That's power. Comes through in clutch situations. Yeah, I'm big Corey guy.
Randy,
I want so bad to put Dansby there, just because like the combination of the flow with his hair and the defense would just be such a lock on that infield. But like we talked about, like it was mentioned with third base with Machado and Arenado and their kind of slow starts, it would depend on what month the aliens descended on us to have Dansby be anything near reliable on offense. If it's July, hey, he would be fantastic. But if it's August, we don't know. But like it's Seager, so yeah, I used to not be a Corey Seager guy. He was one of those guys. I don't know if everybody's like this, but I always have guys that like I just don't like not personally, but they're just guys I can't get behind. I'm like, they're not as good as like people think they are, and there's nothing backing up my thoughts. It just happens. And I had that for Corey Seager until he left LA, and all of a sudden I started watching him more consistently, and it's like, all right, yep, I'm done. So yeah, it's Seager for me.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think Noah and I both watched Corey Seager after he left LA and had, like the Wolverine meme of like looking at the photo and being like, please come back. So we have Adley. So far, our infield is Adley Rutschman, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Jose Ramirez, and Corey Seager. Outfield is tough. And I kind of started thinking about it like positionally, and then I realized like if you can play center field, you can probably play left field, you can probably play right field. Well, we need the arm in right field. But I made a list here of just a handful of guys that I think have to be considered, and we'll figure out where we're playing them, right? The first question, the elephant in the room is, do we really not say Mike Trout? Like, is there really a world in which Mike Trout's not representing us against aliens? And I think the answer is Mike Trout's not on this team, or at least not in the starting lineup. But I at least want to get your guys' thoughts before I just X out his.
I'm always going to go to bat for Mike Trout. That guy, like, I think he's had some really bad injury luck, and some freak injuries too. The hamate bone on a swing. Who does that? That's a tough break. But we've seen even in 2022, the guy hit 40 home runs and missed, I think, 40 something games, like something absurd like that. I think a healthy Mike Trout absolutely should be in this outfield. I'll die on that sword. Like Mike he's been regarded as the best player in baseball for many, many years, for a reason. Right. And I think that he deserves the benefit of the doubt here. That said, it is a very stacked class, so I'm not going to be upset if you have different opinions, because we've got guys like Julio, we've got guys like even Tatis, like we mentioned earlier. So like, there's not a wrong answer here. Like there's not a wrong answer with any of this. I want Mike Trout in that outfield because I think that he has what it takes to save us from doom, I guess those are the stakes.
Those are the stakes. Those are absolutely the stakes. And I think Mike Trout would be the Michael Jordan of this team. So he's the one that I think would be enslaved on an alien planet, doomed to just do things for the aliens at all times. Randy, I don't, whether we keep Mike Trout or not, there's going to be names on this list that I'm about to rattle off that we're not going to include. And I'm curious if you have any strong opinions about players in this list that have to be included or are just not going to be good enough. I had here a list of about 8 players. So including Mike Trout, Julio Rodriguez, Ronald Acuna, Aaron Judge, Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, Juan Soto, and Fernando Tatis. We could also keep going down the list. Corbin Carroll, Kyle Schwarber. Like there's, some other really fantastic players, but we're already having to not include some of those first names. So is there anyone from Trout, Julio, Acuna, Judge, Alvarez, Tucker, Soto, Fernando Tatis either definitely have to be in or definitely cannot be considered?
I think, unfortunately, as much as I love watching him, the first name that would have to go for me is Juan Soto, just because of the defense. And every time a ball is hit to left, you don't know what's going to happen. He makes some obscene catches, and then he does some things that you have never seen before, and that's not necessarily a positive thing. So I think the defensive aspect rules him out first and foremost for me.
Is Alvarez in that same boat where the defensive, he's a DH first and foremost, and we do have a DH spot, so we'll consider him there. But is he, kind of out because of the defense?
I think I would rule him out as well.
All right. So we're down to, and let's assume Trout. We can even throw Trout in left field if we want someone like Julio or Acuna in center or Judge or Tucker. Tatis probably plays. Let's just make it simple. Randy, between Trout, Julio, Acuna, Judge, Tucker, and Tatis, who's your 3-man outfield?
I'm on board with Trout. If we're acting under the assumption he's completely healthy, who else do you want? I think Acuna's got to be in there too. And begrudgingly, because again, there's no rationale here, but I just don't like his game. But we can include him. It's Judge. Judge would be in right for me.
Okay. So Trout left.
Personally, I would want it to be Tatis, but Tatis's bat looks like it's still working its way back. So I think he would probably, if we were to go through that list again, he might be the next one off for me. As good as his defense was, I think the offensive component from the other guys is probably a step above his.
Yeah, fair enough. Noah?
Yeah, I mean, we've covered Trout. I want him in there. I think that you can't keep Acuna out at this point. I mean, reigning MVP, swipes bags, can play defense, fantastic defense. So now for me, I think it is down to Julio, Judge potentially. And I think if we're getting peak Judge, I'll go peak Judge over peak Julio. I don't know if that's the right answer. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to have, a building out there in left field who can bring anything back into the ballpark. So I think I'll go Judge. Did I give you the same outfield that Randy just did?
You did. And my only difference would be that I would want Julio in center and Acuna in right. And I just think defensively that means we're incredible across the board between Trout, Rodriguez, and Acuna. I'm not saying Judge is a bad defender. I'm just saying Rodriguez and Acuna are better. And I do think, by the way, that then in the designated hitter spot is one of Aaron Judge, Yordan Alvarez, Juan Soto, probably, maybe Bryce Harper. Oh my God, this is getting long. And the right answer, Shohei Ohtani. But which designated hitter?
You got to debate it. I'm going Ohtani every day. Watching that guy live is just a transcendent experience, and I don't think that. And again, if we're assuming peak health, the guy was injured last year and he was still put up one of the most incredible offensive seasons that we've seen. So I don't think that as amazing as those other guys are, specifically Yordan. I'm a big Yordan guy. Obviously there's Soto, Harper, Judge, all that. I'm going Ohtani and I'm not thinking twice about it.
Randy, do you have
it's genuinely hilarious that we have those names, but it's Ohtani, zero argument to be made for anybody else. I think that just speaks to everything that he brings to the table as a hitter.
Yeah, and again, I mean, who knows when, as we point out, who knows when this game happens? Maybe it doesn't happen until, we know it happens in 2024. I was going to say maybe it doesn't happen until 2025. Maybe we get Ohtani on the mound, but that's not the situation in this current completely hypothetical scenario we're talking about. So we've got ultimately, and I will defer to you guys as you 2 out of 3 me on the outfield. So we've got Adley Rutschman, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Jose Ramirez, Corey Seager, Mike Trout in left, Ronald Acuna in center, Aaron Judge in right, and Shohei Ohtani a designated hitter in this winner-take-all game against Aliens. And the last question is, who's on the mound for us? Who's making sure that the Aliens don't get hits? And I think there's a million great starting pitchers. There's like a list online somewhere that ranks like starting pitchers or something. I think I've heard of it. But what do you guys think? Just who's your starting pitcher of choice?
Can I go second?
I don't want to go at all.
All right.
It's gonna be the hardest one.
I'll just say for me, I think if you factor in everything, right? Not just ability, not just what they've done, not just where they're at in 2024, but like just winner take all one game, they're locked in. I have to pick Justin Verlander. I don't necessarily think he's the guy I'm picking for an entire season compared to like Corbin Burns or Zach Wheeler or Garrett Cole or a handful of other pitchers. But we're talking one guy, one start. I have to go Verlander.
I mean, if we're doing that, and are we assuming health here? I don't think that DeGrom should be out of the conversation either.
That's a good point, and I have completely neglected the health part of it.
I think if we're going just our guys on the best, like woke up feeling great, best shape of his life. I want Jacob DeGrom out there. If I can't get Jacob DeGrom, I think we've got a great shot with Garrett Cole. We've got a great shot. I think I don't know if who had order between Burns and Cole first, but I think that I would probably pick DeGrom up there because guy throws it's incredible.
That's a fair point. No, that's absolutely a fair point. And I kind of actually think that makes Verlander null and void because if we're assuming health, it's DeGrom. And if we're assuming what we know about them, then it probably has to be someone like Garrett Cole. Randy, break this tie for us. Is it DeGrom or is it Cole? Are we assuming health or no?
Well, if we assumed health for Trout, then we have to assume health for whoever's on the bump. So it's got to be DeGrom.
All right. Well, hey, we'll get DeGrom in for like 4 innings, and then something will happen, and we'll have Cole coming in to follow. And that right there is the alien game team. Honestly, when we were kind of doing this and putting this together, we were like, look, there's no wrong answers when you're crafting the best. Like, there's no restrictions, right? There's a million amazing players in Major League Baseball. That number is obviously an exaggeration, but there's at least at every position, we had 3-4 amazing players we're picking between. I think for us, we were kind of thinking, let's get a little bit weirder with it because look at this panel. We all like weird stuff. Randy likes aesthetic defense and aesthetic swings. Noah's into nicknames. So why don't we do that? Why don't we craft our greatest teams for 2024? And so Noah, I will give you the floor first. What is your greatest team when it comes to Major League Baseball in 2024?
As you mentioned, I love a good nickname, and I think that baseball has an argument for the best nicknames, both historically and currently. So I'm going to do an all nickname team. I'm just going to go same kind of order we did. Catching, I think he's got a job right now. I was looking around. I'm going to go with the Kraken, Gary Sanchez, because I love a good nautical theme. First base, he's got a couple fun nicknames, but I'm going to use the appropriate one and go with the polar bear, Pete Alonso. Second base, this is middle infield. I feel like middle infield kind of weak on nicknames, just in general, because I struggled a little bit with shortstop. Second base, though, I don't know how prevalent it is, but they call him the Muffin Man, Brandon Drury. I have seen a shirt with a collage of Brandon Drury and a giant Muffin Man text, and I thought it was gas. So I'm going to go with Drury up there. Third base, again, like just not... I feel like they all kind of plateau a little bit, and I've actually never heard anyone call him this, but I did find it on Baseball Reference. Have you ever heard anyone refer to Matt Chapman as the Pegasus? I haven't, but I love Greek mythology. So if it's on there, maybe he used it as a Players Weekend jersey. I don't know. I think that's it's unique, and I think with nicknames, I'd rather go with something unique than just like 30 guys named Big Cheese or something like that.
Or like MC24.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'm not... Yeah. Shortstop, again, I really struggled with this, and I totally open floor if anyone has anything better for any of these. Mr. Smile, which I think it's apt. It's apt, Lindor. Beautiful smile. Off the top of my head,
I have heard that one. I think I have heard that one.
Yeah. But off the top of my head, I couldn't think of anything. I could have sworn that Trey had something cooking, in the nickname department. Seager doesn't really have ton of nicknames. Like I was looking, like they call JP Crawford Crawdaddy, and I don't think that's as good as Mr. Smile, and it's fitting, so I went with that. I think outfield is where it gets really, really fun, though. I think the probably like a first ballot Hall of Fame nickname, Childish Bambino for Juan Soto. It combines two of my favorite things, which is baseball and I think Donald Glover's pretty sick. Childish Bambino also just fits the age. Like it's so unique. It's a perfect nickname. Center field, we're gonna go back to our boy Trout in the Millville Meteor. I wish that people would use that more because it's a great like the next generation of the Commerce Comet, Mickey Mantle. He's drawn a lot of comparisons to Mickey Mantle in his career, and it just has that. It's got that. It comes off the tongue super well. Right field, very new to the league this year, but I think he's definitely in the running for the Rookie of the Year nickname edition. The grandson of the Wind, Jung-Hoo Lee, which is. Oh, have you not heard that one? Wow. Okay, so his father. His nickname was the Son of the Wind because he was very, very fast, and Jung-Hoo Lee is not quite as agile as his dad was, but because he's his son, hence grandson of the Wind, which I think is just one of the coolest things that I've ever heard in my entire life. Yeah, that's sick. It's cool. DH again, kind of a hard position to do this for, but I went back kind of going down the Pegasus route again, and I went with the unicorn Shohei Ohtani. But I was coming through this and I was like, I feel like someone else has been called the unicorn. Brad Ziegler, which is a name that I had not heard in a long time. So I hope he's not too upset that was usurped a little bit. But then I just did one pitcher. We've got a couple options. I do love a good Snellzilla because I'm a big Godzilla guy and I like the name tied to it. Jesus Luzardo. They've called him Lizard King. They've called him Lizard Jesus at times, and I think Lizard King that's pretty sweet. Again, like I guess kind of reptile themed here with Snellzilla too. Either of those I'm a big fan of. And then in terms of like I did one reliever at the end, and I did the volunteer fireman, our own Ben Joyce, because that is like it was a college nickname. He was a volunteer, but the guy throws 105, so I felt it was both fitting, it was clever, and it just sounds really, really cool.
Dude, and who said we don't have good nicknames anymore? I mean, it's not as prevalent as it used to be, but we still have some fire, some heat out there for sure. And I love, by the way, that the Millville Meteor 100% could be a Marvel comic, and probably should
Absolutely.
be. I think if Trout when Trout retires, he should hit up Marvel, DC, whoever, and be like, "Hey, let's do a crossover event here because we can absolutely get the Millville Meteor, hanging out with Superman of some kind." It's so good. Perfect. Thanks, Noah, for that all nickname team, Randy. I think you've got a team of your own here that you've crafted up. What's your greatest team in 2024, Randy?
So I went defensive aesthetics, and I need to make a very important clarification that this does not mean the quality of their defense is terrific. It's just whoever offers the most visually appealing defense when they have the opportunity. And that's going to make that clarification makes a lot of sense when I have Wilson Contreras behind the plate, because famously not very good behind the plate as far as, defensive catchers go. But like everything he does is so violent, like a pickoff play to first base. There's so much anger there. Every little thing that he does, I enjoy watching it, even if he's not with my team of choice anymore. Like he still has that aggressiveness to his game, which is always fun at that position. Honestly, first base, I had a lot of trouble because, it's not the sexiest defensive position.
Yeah, how fun can you be as a defensive first baseman?
Right. My initial thought was like, okay, Christian Walker, he's good and has facial hair, so maybe. But then I just settled on Bryce Harper because while he's still learning the position, there are very few people who look cooler doing literally anything in baseball than Bryce Harper. Like just the shots of him walking into the stadium, cool. Like where do I fall on that scale? Like it's not he's up here, I'm all the way at the bottom. It's pretty remarkable. Second base, I actually have a mix of quality and aesthetics. I have Ha-Seong Kim there because he's such a rangy defender at second base, obviously not his first spot, and can play kind of all over the infield. But I love the way that almost every single play in a baseball game on both sides of the ball, whatever lid he has on, that point's coming off. Whether he's fielding a baseball or whether he's putting a ball in play at the plate, it's that helmet's coming off, the hat's coming off. But it all looks so graceful and so smooth. Love that. At short, it was hard. Again, I want to include Dansby Swanson here, but it really boiled down to the hair and what the hair is doing for me. And Bo Bichette got the edge over him. Yeah. Again, not really near the top of the analytics community in terms of the quality of defense, but it looks sharp every time because he's got that lettuce bouncing behind him. It looks terrific. Third base was probably the easiest call on. Here's Matt Chapman. Like, everything's smooth over there. I've been watching him for a long time and just appreciating what he does. His hands are so fast. And then dropping the quality again in left, we get to Juan Soto. For the reasons that I mentioned before, where every single thing that is hit to left is an adventure. You don't know what you're going to get. And that element of mystery that he brings, I really have come to appreciate that, for better and for worse. And then we're rounding it out with quality, though. I got Michael Harris in center, and then Fernando Tatis over in right because he looked fantastic. Like, very clearly too athletic for the position, if it's possible to be too athletic for the position. But everything he did looked terrific. So I went straight defenders. If I had to pick a pitcher on the spot, maybe Marcus Stroman. He's a pretty good defensive pitcher, does some cool things from that spot. So that's my list.
I just want to say I'm 0% surprised that a guy who managed to do a double jump in real life makes it on your list. I think that's as aesthetically pleasing when it comes to defense as you possibly can get. So that makes perfect sense. And I think Juan Soto will. I mean, he already has earned everything out there is a mystery. But when he climbs a left field fence and then jumps back into the field to play because he realized he's not trying to rob a home run, a la Marcell Ozuna, that's when Soto, I think, will take peak like last 20 years. Full mystery defensively out there because I think that might be the greatest play when it comes to I don't know what's about to happen.
He's won a Gold Glove, right?
Who, Ozuna?
Soto.
Oh, Soto. I mean, if he has, it's probably just from reputation alone. But
Rafael Palmeiro won a Gold Glove. What are we?
No, it doesn't look like Soto's ever won a Gold Glove.
Maybe he was a finalist.
He probably should never win a Gold Glove. Yeah, might have been a finalist. So we got the all nickname team. Fantastic. We have the all defense team, and that's aesthetic all defense team, which honestly, Randy, I think you and I are coming from a very similar place because I think when it comes down to it, you're looking at who's providing the most entertainment value for me when I'm watching a game of baseball. Who's looking the coolest, who's doing the most fun stuff. And that's exactly why my greatest team of 2024 is my all anti-3 true outcome team. You know what I don't like watching? I don't like watching a dude go up to the plate and then walk back to the dugout or walk to first. I want the ball to be put in play. And home runs are cool, but balls in play are even cooler. Stolen bases are the coolest. Give me stuff where things are happening on the field. I always find that the most fun games, especially for people who aren't huge baseball fans, are the ones where stuff happens on the field. So for me, my greatest team in 2024 is a bunch of guys that don't walk and don't strike out. And so a catcher, that's Keibert Ruiz, 15% combined strikeout and walk rate. And bonus point, he gave up the most stolen bases in 2023, which not good for my team, but good for my entertainment value as I get to watch the other team steal bases too. First baseman is Josh Naylor, a 14% strikeout rate, 6.5% walk rate. So really keeping those low was what I like to see. And he stole 10 bases. So he's moving on the base paths. Nico Horner is my second baseman. You'd think it'd be Luis Arias because the dude had a 5% walk rate and a 5% K rate, but he only stole 3 bases. So it's okay, cool. You hit a single. That's nice. But then what? Horner stole 43 bases. So he gets the nod over Luis Arias there. Jose Ramirez at third base. Surprisingly, I didn't realize he had dropped his K rate all the way down to 10%. Literally only strikes out 1 in 10 times. Are you serious? That doesn't happen. Get this guy on my team. At shortstop, we got Bobby Witt Jr. He's up there swinging at everything. He only walks 6% of the time. He stole 49 bases last year. He's got that electric factor. When he's up at the plate, everyone's going to be watching to see what happens next. In left field, obviously it's Joey Gallo. I'm just kidding. It's Masataka Yoshida, another guy swings at everything. Center field, I'm with you, Randy. I got Michael Harris in center field. Again, that electric factor. Dude's just fun to watch. Great defense. Only walks 4.5% of the time, so he's literally swinging at everything, and that's what I like to see. In right field, Alex Verdugo. Part of it is the arm. He had 12 assists in right field. And if a ball is hit to right field and the runner's running, I want to see something happen. And Verdugo is going to make sure something's happening. And finally, my pitcher is Kyle Hendricks. Because again, under 25% combined strikeout and walk rate for the past 6 seasons. When he throws a ball is going to get put in play. I don't know what's going to happen to it. I don't know if it's going to help my team win or not. But with this team out there, we're going to sell a lot of tickets. Things are going to happen. It is going to be fun for sure. And so those are our greatest teams for 2024. Just what we like. But it wouldn't really be, putting anything together for next season. We wouldn't be doing PitchCon, right, if we didn't have at least one live draft at some point in here, right? I mean, come on. It is that time of year. We've got to be drafting something. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to draft the greatest MLB team for 2024. But no restrictions? That's boring. That's easy. Anyone can do that, right? Let's make things difficult. Let's put restrictions on it. You have to draft 2 players from each division. So we're going to fill 12 spots in our lineup. We've got catcher through outfield, DH, 2 starting pitchers, 1 relief pitcher. You have to draft 2 players from each division on your 12-man team. If you've got 2 guys from the AL West already and Mike Trout's sitting there staring at you, Noah, and you want to draft him, too bad. You already drafted 2 players from the AL West. So keep that in mind. And with that said, Noah, you've got the first pick here.
Wow.
Just because I randomly put your name first, but good luck. No, before we dive into this, do you guys have any thoughts on strategy? Any strategy at all when you're drafting divisionally like this?
I don't know if I want to give away my strategy, but I can. Oh. I mean, I'll give away my strategy when I've got these divisions cleared. How about that? Okay.
All right, Randy. Any thoughts as to what we're about to do here?
It's pretty similar to like what my actual fantasy draft strategy would be. I prepped for like 15 solid minutes, felt great about it, and I'm going to feel awful as soon as we're done.
All right, perfect. Well, Noah, you've got the first pick. Who is the number 1 pick for your team here? By the way, in the draft board, I'm putting in 2023 F4. That's not how we're grading this. You, the viewers, are going to tell us who has the best team, but I'm just leaving that there just for a little bit of flavor. Noah, take it away.
I want Jose Ramirez.
All right, Jose Ramirez is the first pick, and I set my thing up all wrong, so that's fun. It's probably because his name has like the accents in it, and that's okay. Jose Ramirez first pick at third base. Noah off to a good start. Randy, who's your first pick?
I think I'm going to take Acuna.
Smart. Another player that I'm not going to be able to find in my thing.
We're just here to break your spreadsheet.
Man. I didn't even think about that. This is fantastic. Great stuff. Okay. So we got Jose Ramirez first. I see what you're doing. I think I know where your head is at. So that's a great to know that someone else has the same strategy that I do. But I am going to buck my personal trend. I'm going to go with a different strategy altogether. I'm going to take Mookie Betts and put him at second base. I'm going for positional scarcity here. And on that same note, you know what? We talked about him already. It's got to be Adley Rutschman at catcher. So those are my top 2 picks. Give me Mookie at second, Adley at catcher. Let's make sure I've got some of the tougher positions handled. Randy, back to you.
I'm going to go Bobby Witt.
Ooh.
Yep.
So you're thinking about it positionally. I'm thinking about it divisionally, and that division scares me. I kind of want to knock that out as quick as I can.
Yeah, that was definitely on my mind too. Witt was someone I was considering as well. I like the way you're thinking. AL Central, definitely a little bit light. I can tell, Noah, that was top of your mind when you picked Jose Ramirez first. So I love it. Noah, who do you have as your second and third picks?
Oh, I'm taking Luis Robert. Definitely, I don't want to touch the AL Central any more than I have to. And you know what's funny is I don't watch a lot of Central baseball, so just like for a refresher, I'm like, who's in the AL Central? I looked at those teams. It's just okay. Then I think I'm gonna keep it rolling in Middle America, and I could wait on this guy though. You know what? I'll get first base taken care of. Give me Paul Goldschmidt.
Okay, so you're fully focusing on Middle America first. I like it. Making sure that they stay
swing states.
Yeah, of course, perfect. Randy, who's your third pick?
I think I'm gonna go just old reliable with Freddie Freeman.
All right, smart. Yeah, I mean that's a fantastic pick. One of the best players in baseball last year. Really, and really balanced there already. You're focusing. You've actually all spread out all the way across the coast. Noah, you're only focusing in one central area. So interesting start so far, to say the least. Man, I think this is tough. I also kind of want to knock out certain divisions, but now I kind of feel like maybe I can wait on certain divisions now that you guys have kind of opened up the AL Central for me. So I'm going to go with, let's go with the best center fielder in baseball, and that's going to be Julio Rodriguez. And of course, I'm breaking my own sheet here, but I'll go Julio Rodriguez in center field. I feel really good about him. So I'll take him, and then I get one more pick. I was not ready for that. Forgot how my own game works.
It's a quick turnaround. It's so
fast.
It
is. It is. And you know what?
I'm struggling with the pace.
I'm panicking.
You're panicking. I love it. Well, I'll slow things down a little bit because I'm going to think about an entirely different side of the ball that none of us have really looked at yet. And I'm going to take Spencer Strider as my number one pitcher. So that's going to be my two picks. Really going for balance here. Randy, you got pick number 4 up on the board.
Oh boy. This is I'm gonna do something in a panic move in about 4 seconds.
That's drafting, baby.
Yeah, it is.
I'm
gonna go Ellie De La Cruz at third base.
Who at third base?
Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh, I like it. Did he play enough third base this year?
So what's our ruling?
As the depth charts guy at BP, you think I would know, and I just rattled that off because the panic just set in.
Let's see. How much third base did he play in 2023? Pulling it up. Baseball Reference, help me. Oh yeah, I mean it lists his position as shortstop and third base. So I will go ahead. Yeah, 259 innings at third base. Sure, he's a third baseman. We'll give it to you.
All right. I'm going to bring it out west. I'm going to go first with Marcus Semien at second base.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because as soon as you picked Mookie, I was thinking it's like drafting tight ends where they're gone. Even with just 3 people, I'm stressing. And then I'm going to go at shortstop. I want Fernando Tatis Jr.
Okay, so he didn't play shortstop in 2023. I don't know if I can give you Tatis.
You're going to shut me down? That's fine. I mean,
I'll give him to you in the outfield.
Let me see how many games he played so I can know how hard I want to argue this.
Let's see.
He literally did not play a game at shortstop. That's so fair. I went on Baseball Reference. It's at shortstop and right field. I'm like, all right, cool. Oh, that absolutely throws a wrench in what I was going to do.
Do you want him in outfield or do you want the repick?
No, let me keep it rolling. I'm gonna clean up. I think, you know what? I'll take care of my catching spot. Give me Will Smith.
All right. So we've got you've got your AL Central's already taken care of. You've got your infield almost entirely taken care of. So Noah's kind of working his way down the board. Randy, who you got?
I'm gonna knock out the NL West and take Corbin Carroll for the outfield.
All right, I like it. Great player, great pick. Okay, interesting. A lot of options available to me. I have completely avoided the Central up until now, and I'm not sure that I want to go to it yet. Looking at the list of players that are available for me in the Central, oh boy, the Central is not a lot of great talent there. Kind of tough. But you know what? You know who is still available? No, I can definitely wait on him. This is riveting stuff, by the way. A live draft is always entertaining, but man. All right, I'm going to probably screw myself over in the long run here. But I'm going to go with Corey Seager at shortstop. Cut off from the rest of the AL West. I think there's a lot of other great players in the AL West, but getting Seager and Julio as my representatives from there, I feel good about that. And then I get one more because, I don't know what I'm doing here. And I'm going to cut myself off from the AL East as well. And let's go ahead and give me Aaron Judge. So done on both coasts from the AL, but I still got plenty of spots left to fill. Randy, I think you're up here for pick number 6, if I can count.
Yeah, 6 is 6. I'm not sure how I feel about this, but it's going to help me never have to think about the AL Central again for a while, and I'm just going to take Pablo Lopez for one of my starting pitcher spots.
Ooh,
love it. That makes a ton of sense. Not going to lie.
All right, I'm going to do, because clearly my previous choice was shot down. I want Trey Turner.
He did play shortstop. He did
a couple times, at least 5 games. I want Trey, and then you know what? Oh, I had a fun. I'm between doing the obvious answer here for the NL West, and I'm between doing a fun answer for the NL West. I already have an AL West guy, so I'm gonna just kick the can down the road. I'm gonna give me Mike Trout. Gotta stand on our
stand on business.
About. Absolutely.
And by the way, that 3 F4 that he had in 2023 is from like 80 games or something like that. So
he'll be back.
Yeah, I mean that's just goes to show how great of a player that he is. That I mean, that would be, I think, the second highest F4 on your team for a full season. So, Randy, back to you. Stuck in the middle, man. You're always like up on deck. No time to breathe.
I'll go Yordan Alvarez at DH. I haven't picked the AL West guy yet.
All right, and a fantastic one to pick for sure. I mean, that's one of the best hitters in baseball. So that makes perfect sense there. Whew. Okay. A lot of different directions to go. I should probably get another outfielder. I think I should get another outfielder here. It's getting a little bit tighter because you got to think about divisions now too. I don't have anyone from either Central division, but there's not a lot of great outfielders in the Central. As I scroll through my player sheet, I think I messed this draft up, guys. I think I really painted myself into a corner I did not want to be painted into. So let me get out of that thing. Let's move away from the Central. Man, and like everyone here oh, you know what? You already made a pick for me, and this is genius. I'm gonna go with Fernando Tatis Jr. NL West. Now my NL West is done, but that's okay. Because I was looking at some other guys. Like I wanted to pick someone from the AL West right here. I couldn't, so I had to make that pivot. And then let's get this locked up in the starting pitching rotation. And let me get a guy that I think a lot of people have as one of the best pitchers in baseball, if not the best. And that's going to be Corbin Burns. And finally get the Central on the board for me. So going back to you, Randy, you're locked out of the AL Central and the NL West, but a lot of other great divisions, including the AL East, open to you. So where are you heading now?
I think I'll go Garrett Cole.
That's
my other starting pitcher spot.
Very smart. Very smart. Had him and a couple other AL East pitchers, kind of in top of mind for me, but didn't have that division available to me. So love that pick. Noah, what are you thinking?
Man, you're just gonna leave him on the board for me. I really tried to. I gotta go with Shohei. I gotta go Shohei at DH here. I thought you were gonna pick him, and then I was gonna pick something a little more interesting for my other NLS pick, but that's all right. Outfield, give me Juan Soto because I need to knock out that AL East.
I'm not gonna lie. I part of this is like just the rapidness that this draft is moving. I have been terrified this entire time that you were going to use your DH spot on a different player that I had earmarked for a position, and I didn't even cross my mind that Shohei Ohtani had not been picked yet. I don't know where my brain is.
Yeah, I was definitely, it was him or JD Martinez. Just I could have stuck him at like shortstop or something. I don't know.
Randy, you're up. I don't even want to dignify that JD Martinez comment.
What do I need here? AL East, NL East.
Oh, I'm so worried about this.
I'm going to do another kind of instinctive thing. I'm just going to go Nico Horner at second base.
Yeah, he was someone I was considering for sure. I think Horner is someone that, because he doesn't hit for power. I think a lot of people kind of maybe not overlook necessarily.
Right.
We talked about him plenty, but
there's occasional power there.
Sure. Occasional is a good word for it. So, okay, now that neither of you can pick this guy, I'm just going to wait till my last pick on him. But I'll just say it now. Matt Olson is going to be my first baseman.
That's good.
So I make sure I don't draft any NL East people. That's really me kind of like playing with fire here. So I am going to go to relief pitcher. And finally get my AL Central guy and give me Emmanuel Clase. Probably the best, if not one of the best, definitely one of the best closers in baseball. Covers the AL Central. I need one more Central guy. I've got DH and third base open. Who's the best third baseman in the Central that has not been picked yet? I'm really kind of screwed myself here. Oh boy. There's not a lot of good stuff available. If the chat really wants to help me, I would really appreciate it. Because right now, Brian Hayes looks like the best third baseman I can get. I mean, no, you know what? I've got some hope here. Should I go old or young? I'll let you guys pick for me. Should I go old man or a young player?
Old. Always old.
I'm gonna go I was gonna say old too. Royce Lewis, third baseman for the Twins this past season. I think he played third base for them, right?
How old is he? He's not that old.
He's a rookie. What do you mean? How old is he? He made his I don't know if he made his official debut last year, but he might as well have. And he played plenty of third base. So Royce Lewis is my third baseman. Randy, back to you.
I thought you said
whatever name I was just. I need both East. I'll go Real Muto behind the plate.
I like it.
All right, I'm gonna finish off the Central here with Devin Williams.
Okay, yeah, that's a great one. I could have gone Devin Williams instead of Emmanuel Clase, and I'm
when
not
you
sure
said Central, I thought you were gonna go with Devin Williams, and
now I'm
Clase existed for a second.
Yeah, the exact same but opposite. I forgot Williams existed for a second, and okay. All right. Noah, who's your second to last player here?
I need an East guy either way. I want Zach Wheeler.
Yep. Great pitcher there. Randy, second to last pick. You're going to fill out your lineup, or you're going to put in your relief pitcher?
I think I'm going to do my relief pitcher, and I think for the AL West, I'm just going to take Josh Hader.
Yeah, clutch for him to sign with the Astros recently. To give me really that credit. Yep, that's a good one. So obviously, I already mentioned one of my picks going to be Matt Olson. So I'm just going to lock that in before I accidentally pick an NL East player as my DH and screw myself out of Matt Olson. So now I just need the best NL Central hitter that has not been picked yet. So let's see here. I had a little filters that I could. Let's get to my NL Central hitters. Yikes. We're back to
Patrick Wisdom is right there.
Yeah, right there. I mean, I could go bounce back candidates and go like Brian Reynolds. I could believe in like Matt McClain, which I'm kind of leaning towards because, I mean, Dansby, but I guess you know what? There's no rule saying that I have to. I can't put one of my other guys at DH. Maybe I can make Corey Seager my DH. So that's what I'm going to do. That's exactly.
Hey! If I can't put Tatis at shortstop, I feel like you need to have a designated DH here.
Wait! I have to pick an actual DH. Is that's the rule we're going with?
I mean, I feel like they need to have DH'd at least a couple games.
Okay.
Which honestly, I guess you could move. You could. I think he did. Yeah. I guess you can move it. I'm just being annoying.
You are.
Yeah.
No, that's totally fair. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm making an executive call here, and I'm putting Corey Seager as my DH, and I'm gonna put Dansby Swanson as my shortstop. And there is my greatest team for 2024. Randy, who are you filling out your roster with here in the AL East outfield?
I think I'm going to go Rosarena.
It's a great pick. So, man, these teams are so stacked. When you have a 3-team draft of like 12 players, like Noah, who's your final starting pitcher from the AL East?
Kevin Gausman.
Yep. I'm curious, chat. I'm curious with our last minute here, and maybe Nick will jump in and give us his thoughts too. But some pretty stacked teams. I feel like mine is very clearly the worst of the three because I got Royce Lewis at third base. That's a great player, could be great, but as Jason Collette pointed out, he's 25, but his knees are 32. So chat, let us know whose team you have as the number one. Nick, let us know whose team you have as number one. I mean, I got Strider and Burns, so I feel like, I'm kind of winning there, but who knows? Who knows what everyone else thinks? But Noah and Randy, thanks for for
this was fun.
talking about all kind of different MLB teams that we could put together for 2024. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thanks for having me. I love PitchCon, and I'm happy got to come back and do this. And I'm always love talking about weird baseball players. So,
hey guys,
yeah, no, I appreciate it as well.
Hey Nick,
hi. Nick. So I'm going to give this to Noah Scott's team, just so we're clear here. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's I mean, it's pretty obvious because Zach Wheeler.
There you go.
That's fair. That's fair.
And Mike Trout. And Trey
if you say Noah's weak spot is like Goldschmidt at first, like, I mean, none of us did a good job.
I will say, I absolutely I did luck out that Juan Soto ended up in the AL East, because when Judge went off the board, I panicked for a second, and I remembered that there have been some transactions.